Good evening, everyone. This is Angy Stewart from Miami Inner Light here at Kardec Radio again. 2 weeks passed. So quick, but we are here again and we're very happy about it. And to the ones that don't know how our class goes through, we study 2 books, 30 minutes each book. And this is a beautiful book. It's Thought and Life by the spirit of Emmanuel, where the spirits asked Emmanuel if he could write some kind of a manual, a guidelines for the spirits that were preparing to reincarnate on the planet Earth again, to have like something that they could grasp and they would be able to help them when they were already back to Earth. So this is what Emmanuel did. He did these beautiful chapters, 30 chapters, with summary of important titles. And that's what we study. Every time we come here, we study 1 chapter. And then our next half an hour, we study another amazing book, The Gospel According to Spiritism, that was codified by Allan Kardec. So these are 2 beautiful books, and we will be together for 1 hour every 2 weeks. And if you know anybody that don't have Facebook and would like to follow any kind of studies that Kardec Radio provides, this person can go to our app. We have Kardec Radio app on the phone, or you can even use SoundCloud and search for Kardec Radio. So nowadays, technology helps all kinds of ways. Nobody can escape. And if you want to study, if you want to improve, you will find a way. If there is a will, there is a way. So no problem. And just to tell the people that are local from here, from Miami, we are organizing a picnic on April 15 at 2 p.m. We will go to this beautiful park in Brickell, right on the entrance of the Key Biscayne Island. It's called Alice Wainwright. So we will have a Gospel According to Spiritism study for 1 hour, and then we will have a picnic with friends. So if you are local, please send us an email, a message, and we will give you all the information. So now we are prepared to start. Let's see who already arrived here. Very good. I see lots of great friends. Daniela, Saul, Angela, oh, another Angela. Hey, Shara, how are you? Carla, Teresa, very, very good. Happy to see you guys. Yeah, Daniela, I wish the picnic was in New York in the summertime. But inspired by the picnics in New York that we always had so much pleasure in organizing, participating, that's why we are starting here in Miami too. So that's one advantage of being a warm weather. We can have a picnic every weekend. So to the ones that already know, I hope you have your water, so the enlightened spirits will be able to bless it and you can use as your medication through the week. And at this moment, we would like to ask you to calm down, relax a little bit. And we are going to do a short prayer to connect with our guardian angels and with the spirits that protect this study. Almighty God, dear brother Jesus, our guardian angels, thank you so much for the opportunity of being here again together with so many friends. Please, Master, guide all of us, protect us, inspire us, so the studies of tonight will be a blessing to all of us participating right now and to the other ones that will be hearing this later on. Thank you so much. So be it. Very good. Very good. So if you don't have the book and you would like to follow the page, I put the link here in the video. You can go to Miami Inner Light, photos, and then you can see the page of the book. We are going to be studying the chapter 14 today. So the first book is the Thought and Life, chapter 14, the body. So I will read, and then we can make comments. And please, if you would like to know anything, please write your comments, make questions, make any questions. And if I know, I will be happy to answer. Hey, Susanna, you joined. That's awesome. So let's start reading. Chapter 14, the body. In reference to the human body, we will refrain from scientific analysis, as there is an abundance of textbooks which fully cover all the body's outer aspects. Rather, we will point out that the spirit is the tenant of the physical vehicle, and consciously or unconsciously presides over the body's formation and maintenance from the moment of its fetal inception. Most often, it does so under the protection and guidance of higher beings. So, this first paragraph, we can understand Emmanuel is not going to talk about any kind of scientific aspects, because there is a lot of scientific books that can talk about it. We are going to really talk about the spiritual aspect. In this part here, he already starts explaining that the spirit is the tenant of the physical body. So we are using the physical body momentarily for this incarnation. And then when we die, when we discarnate, we will go to the spiritual realm. And later on, we will come back again in another physical body that we will need to improve. And if you had a chance to watch the movie called Astral City or Nosso Lar, you will be able to see a scene where André Luiz is brought to a chamber to analyze bodies, where he sees bodies of lots of different people being created. And he's amazed how beautiful they are. So it's really like an art. And we, as the spirits, we can participate in it. It doesn't mean that we will be able to choose exactly what we want. Because if it was like this, I would be blonde with blue eyes and taller. It's not like this. We are in the body that we need. We are in the body that we need to improve. And in the same movie, André Luiz sees, he meets a spirit there, and the spirit is talking about his physical body. And he's nervous because the physical body looks too perfect. And he's talking to the guides who are helping him planning his next reincarnation. And he says, I had problems with vanity in my previous life, so I'm wondering if this body is too perfect. And then the story is more or less like this. And then the spirits say, well, we can work on it. Maybe we can place a defect on your leg, so you are not going to be so perfect, and we'll be able to give you strength to overcome any kind of difficulties related to vanity. This is just one example. There are so many different stories. In Spiritism, we can never say this happened because of this, because the aspects are so different. So we can just grasp what the spirits tell us, and we can imagine what could have happened to a certain person or not. But it doesn't matter. You don't need to worry about that. We are always improving. And most of the time, our physical defects help us and guide us. So they are a blessing. But of course, when we are incarnated, we complain. But they are a beautiful blessing that's always helping us to improve and to be a better person, especially in our moral side, that is always so difficult. And Francine joined too, very good. Okay, let's continue. Second paragraph. Upon reincarnation, the spirit brings with it the total of its good and bad mental reflexes, according to the harvest of useful or damaging deeds it had previously sown. The spirit incorporates the cells of the developing body to the patterns it carries within its structure. These patterns will become part of its life on earth, beginning with the very first cell. So this part is very, very interesting. But let's continue reading another paragraph to make comments. The body develops by means of these cells that multiply and organize around the spiritual matrix, like iron filling around a magnet. In the beginning, cells are formed by the blastoderm, from which emerge the intestinal duct, nerve, and skin tissues, bones, muscles, and blood vessels. Soon afterwards, in this process of spontaneous development, the spirit finds itself materialized on the physical plane, dwelling in a body through which it can manifest. This vehicle is formed of billions of cells of microscopic individualities that are adjusted to the fine tissues of the soul and share its electromagnetic nature, like a complex machine shop with billions of tiny motors. They are driven by electromagnetic oscillations of a scientific wavelength, which emit their own radiation and assimilate the radiation of the plane in which they are found. All are under the command of only one director, the mind. This is beautiful. It's very beautiful, and it's very deep. It's very deep for us. So when he's talking about that the spirit brings with it the sum of total, the good and the bad mental reflexes. So we are, how can we say, we are a summary of all our past reincarnations, everything we did, everything good and everything bad, because of course we made lots of mistakes. Don't dream that you were a princess and now you reincarnated like this. No, we did lots of good things and lots of bad things, and we are a summary of this. So our body is this reflection. And then he goes further, explaining further. And then he says, the spirit incorporates the cells of the developing body to the patterns it carries within its structure. So many times we think, how can I explain? Many times we think, oh, we got this body because our mother and father only. It's not only. As he explaining, the cells get together because of the spirit needs. So the spirit is like a magnet. The spirit magnets, it attracts the cells it needs to be formed. So yes, we were talking before in the spiritual realm, in the chamber that's specialized to take care of the bodies, how they prepare it. But when we come to the physical world, that's more or less how it's going to work. The physical body was planned there. So they have like a esboço. How do you say esboço in English? They had like a basic form. But when you come here to the physical realm, the spirit, when approaches the mother, it's already start attracting the cells that it will need. So it will start picking up like, which cells do I need? Do I need to have a special disease because that's what you're going to cure my spirit? So yes, you need. So you will attract that type of disease because it will help your physical body to go through that difficult time and then your spirit will improve. So this part, it's very interesting. Yes, Daniela, a draft. Yes, thank you. The word escaped from my mind. So we are a draft of what we are already formed in the spiritual realm. So this is very interesting. So the spirit influences the body cells, and that's how we finally get the body. And of course, it's science also. You have a mother and father, you will need to have the cells from mother and father. So maybe you will even have characteristics, physical characteristics that's similar to your mother and father. So this is like we already know about that. But this is very, very, very interesting that the spirit is what attracts our body cells. And the mind controls everything. So the boss is the mind. So the mind is always controlling what is going to happen. And it's beautiful to know that even if we cannot, most of the time, we cannot decide exactly how we want our body, our spiritual guides, they are able to help us to understand. Listen, Angela, you can't be blonde with blue eyes in this reincarnation, okay? Your mother and father, they don't have the physical conditions for that. Or you will be full of vanity, it's not going to be good for you. So they guide us. And when we are in the spiritual realm, we are easier also. It's easier for us to understand that we need to improve. So when we are in the physical realm, this physical body makes our minds a little bit difficult to grasp what we should really do in everything. So when we are here, it's easy for us to be angry with people, to be mad about certain things. Sometimes things are so silly, and we are like that. But when we calm down, when we breathe, when we pray, we are able to see that that person or that situation was not the ideal situation. And that man or that woman is also a son of God. And it's also going through lots of problems, developing, improving. So when you give a chance to this thought, immediately you shift your mind. You shift your mind, and that was hurting you, that was like making you so angry with that person, you start, I also have my bad days. I'm not great all the time, and I'm sure I hurt some people. So it's easier. And when we're in the spiritual realm, it's much easier because we think like this all the time. When we come here, it's tougher. So let's continue. Starting with the embryonic phase, the spirit continually imprints its mental reflexes on the instrument through which it manifests in the world. There are some beyond the grave that are very unbalanced because of problems caused by suicide or murder, crime, and other vices. In their rebirth, they immediately display painful derangements caused by the vibratory malfunction of cellular pathology. That's why we were talking about the attraction. Infirmities that are of a congenial nature are nothing more than mental reflexes of an unfortunate position assumed in the near past, demanding a return to the flesh, sometimes only briefly, for the treatment of the disharmony. So this is another beautiful explanation for us to understand. This is why we say people that commit suicide, they will come back, they will reincarnate again, but they damaged their perispirit. They cut their lives before the time. We know, in Spiritism, we know that God gave us life, and only God can take it. We don't have the right for whatever situation. Doesn't matter the worst of the worst. We don't have the right to cut our life short. We have to be strong. We have to pray. We have to ask for guidance. We have to search for help. But it will be better, because we understand that when we take this wrong decision, we cut our lives, we go to the spiritual realm in a very difficult situation, very difficult, very painful. And if the person did not believe in life after death, he will be in very disturbing time, trying to understand, I thought I was dead, but I am alive. And it's painful. So we need to pray a lot to help these spirits. And we need to understand that God loves all of us, and doesn't matter the mistakes we did. We will have another opportunity to come back again, and to try again. So, but because we damaged our perispirit, the formation of our body cells will have a difficult time. That's why they will attract the cells that will form a body with the how can I say, with the cells that will create a body with some kind of deformity. If it's a physical deformity, or if it's some kind of internal organ deformity, it's all connected to our spirit. And a lot of people say, oh no, this is congenital. This is the grandmother had, the great-grandmother had. Yes, it's possible too. It's also possible. But maybe that's why you reincarnated in that family, because you need to be born with that type of deformity, with that type of disease, and that family had that. So you reincarnated there as an opportunity. So we have to start seeing our brothers and sisters who have deformities. It's a blessing. It's a blessing for them, and we have to help them to overcome these difficulties. We all committed mistakes in the past, but now that's the time that we understand our mistakes. We understand that we have to be better. We have another chance, and let's embrace this chance, and let's change. Let's make changes in our life. Let's not leave for tomorrow what you can do today. This is important. Don't be a procrastinator. Do now, because the power is now. Now is the time to start doing everything you need to change. If you have problems with some person, go to the person and try to make amends. Try to make amends. Try to understand, when did this problem start? Why we never liked each other? Maybe, yes, maybe something from a past life. Who knows? Maybe it is from a past life. But even if it's from a past life, this is the opportunity to start making amends now. You know, let's, how can I say, let's practice being nicer. Let's practice to smile. You know, if somebody looks at you like with an angry face, smile. I always tell my friends that my neighbors from my building, they never escape me, because as soon as we go in the elevator, I start looking and I start thinking how I'm going to talk, what I'm going to talk. And then nobody escapes. So the elevator is the people that people feel they nowadays on the cell phone all the time. And it's awful. Nowadays it's so difficult to know your neighbors, because nobody talks to anybody. So the elevator for me is a wonderful opportunity. That's when I'm like, oh, you live on the 35th floor. That's awesome. Whatever. Let's take this opportunity to be nicer to people. Any people. So let's continue. You guys don't have any questions, any comments? It's not easy sometimes. I know, so it's not easy. It's never easy. If life was easy, we were not going to be here on Earth anymore. We would be already in Jupiter, because we would be already living with spirits that are like us, that we are all very similar. We are all very loving beings. And it's not reality of Earth right now. But it's important. do your part. That's what I always say. Do your part. If the other person do not answer back, it's okay. It's okay. It's not a problem. How many people I talk in the elevator and they answer with little yes, no, yes, no. It's fine. I talk for them. Do your part. Try to be positive. Try to be nice, and it will be better. It will be better. Always acting, understanding that the person might not be in the same wavelength that you. The person might not be able to give you the same smile, but it's okay. The person will always remember, wow, that girl, she's nice. She smiles to the people. That's very nice characteristic. Even if that person cannot do the same, it's okay. You do your part, will be better. Will be always better. Okay. Other variations of these mental reflexes also affect our rebirth in the body. Mutilations and diseases are stored deep in our spiritual field as seeds of sharp thorns that we had entertained in the form of hidden guilty and remorse. They germinate at the predetermined time according to the law of action and reaction, which rules watchful, surely, and with precision. That's very important. That's very important. So these are hidden in us because of guilt and remorse. Let's think about it. This is why very often it's in accordance with events programmed before birth, and in the process of a restitution, a person is visited by unusual trials, even during material prosperity, or by painful physical disasters, when they were enjoying perfect health. This is also another thing. Like today here in Miami, I'm sure you guys heard a bridge, a pedestrian bridge, brand new bridge, collapsed on top of many cars. And we don't know yet, but yes, for sure, a lot of people died because the cars, it seems they were like waiting in a red light when the bridge just collapsed. So it's very sad. It's very painful. It's a type of death that's very difficult for you can just imagine the family members, how painful and difficult will be for them. But as we just read here, these are necessary for the spirit. Even if these tragic lives are very tragical deaths, are very difficult and very painful, especially for the ones who are incarnated and who will be seeing that. But they were important for us. Who knows what we did in the past, what we did, why we needed to go through this difficult trial, because it is challenging, it is very difficult, and we have to pray a lot. And today, when we are finishing the studies, I would like to invite all of you to mentalize these people who died today, to all those families affected who are suffering and who are crying so much right now. Because when we pray together, when we connect our hearts and our loves and our intention, it's in the Spirit's book. You can read about it. When the intention is together and is positive, it's stronger. The prayer is stronger because the intention of many people praying for those people will help them. So let's do it when we are finalizing. So the last two paragraphs. Nevertheless, we must also remember that the mental reflexes generate other reflexes, and that all payments carry their just share of mercy whenever the debtor shows their cooperation in resolution of their debts. The continuous and untiring practice of good deeds can alter the route of one's destiny, since clear and righteous thoughts, which contribute to edification, will change the function of these diseased cells. Likewise, the same principle applies to human events, where we can attract to our side by means of our improved and nobler mental reflexes, the help, light, and support of others according to the law of solidarity. So these two final paragraphs are very beautiful because they give us a lot of hope. Donna, thank you. I love the picture. So they give us a lot of hope at telling us that even if we made so many mistakes in our past lives, we probably hurt so many people, God is always so merciful, and is always helping us. It's not like people imagine. People imagine people imagine like God, imagine wrongly, because it's not like that. Imagine like, oh, somebody killed 100 people, so they will be murdered 100 times. It's not like that. God is so blessing that a person who made a huge mistake will reincarnate and will not suffer that. It's not that God is going to punish the person like this. We have to understand that God do not punish us. We feel like punishment, but it's not a punishment. It's really a teaching. It's like you go to school, you did great, you did very good in all your subjects, but then you did really horribly in math. And then what's going to happen? The math teacher is going to approve you to go to the next level? No, he cannot, because if you go to the next level with all your friends, it's going to be worse for you because you are not understanding that. You need to repeat. You need to do it again. So when you do it again, now you already know that you had problems with math. So you will focus more. You will try to study harder. You will ask for help. And of course, for the kid, for the person who is doing again, repeating another year, I think here is different. But in Brazil, you have to repeat the whole year, all the subjects, even the subjects that you were really good, you have to do it again because of math. So it's very painful for the person who is going through that. But it's a blessing because this person will be able to overcome the difficulties, will learn, so we'll be better. And the last paragraph is super important because it explains to us that according to whatever we are doing here right now, our reincarnation can be even slightly modified to better, to be better, to be easier. There is a beautiful story. I can't tell the whole story, it's too long, but it was a man who committed a very, very bad crime in his past life. And his spiritual plan to reincarnation was to lose the whole arm. He had to lose the whole arm because of things that he did in the past. And then when he reincarnated, he was such a hard-working man. He was always positive, always loving. He was the person from the community. He was from a poor community that was always helping, always finding how to help this family, how to help that family. He improved. He ended up having some kind of a little industry that they were building machinery. And one day, one of the machines fall on top of him, but only cut two fingers off of his hand. And then people started talking about, oh my God, God is so mean, is so bad. This man is always helping every single person. And look how terrible this accident cut 2 of his fingers. Yes, that's how people see it. People imagine that. But in reality, God changed his plan. He had agreed to lose the whole arm to improve faster. But because of his attitude when he incarnated, he was so good. He was helping so many people, giving jobs to people. God changed slightly his plan and didn't see the need of cutting his whole arm anymore. So just the 2 fingers. But as we don't know, people comment things that they have no idea. They do not understand the spiritual reality. So the last point that we have to know is that besides being positive, changing your attitudes in this reincarnation, when you change your thoughts too, when you start thinking about the positive things, about seeing things in a different perspective, you help yourself and you help others, and you attract spirits who think alike you. Spirits who are loving, spirits who enjoy helping others, spirits who are positive. So you surround yourself with good incarnated and discarnated people. Do you want something better than that? You know, this is awesome. But you have to be careful because this also happens to the other side. When you are negative, when you are angry, when you are mean, when you kind of cultivate anger towards people, when every single thing you see in people is bad, what are you attracting? The same level of spirits, the same level of spirits who are thinking that same wavelength, the same negativity. So sometimes you feel even worse. You feel like, oh, life is terrible, really. Because of this, we are what we think. So if we think something good, we will become good, we'll become better, and we will attract spirits who are better and who are also trying to help us. So let's keep this in mind. Do not keep negative thoughts. Yes, you probably are saying, well, sometimes it's impossible not to think negative. I know. And when a family member dies, we are very upset. And it is normal. It's painful. We need time to recover. I know some people that used to tell me, oh, Angie, for you, you know, you believe in life after death, so if this person dies for you, it's absolutely nothing. What? It's not like that. Can you imagine? I have a heart. I love the person. Yes, we believe in life after death, but it doesn't mean that a person that you love deeply dies, that you are going to be like cold-hearted and saying, yeah, I will meet her in the other side. What is that? It's not true. It's not true. Yes, we believe in life after death. We understand that love connects us and we will meet again, but we will miss the person. And it's normal. It's normal. We will miss the person. We will feel upset. We will be thinking, oh, if the person was here, I could hug her and kiss. But what is not normal for a spiritist is to maintain this type of attitude for a long time. This is not normal because we know that God is love. And if that person had to leave, it's because it was necessary. And we have to resignate ourselves and believe that we will meet again and have faith. Because if we do the contrary, we are going to be rebellious against God, and this is not good either. So let's think about it. Let me read here what Saul asked. So when someone dies in a tragic way, do they feel the pain? Well, so this is very tricky question because as you know, we are all different beings. And we are all different in the spiritual level too. So we don't know, we cannot say yes or no. As in Spiritism, nothing is like linear. It's not that it's not like if me and you, if we both discarnate right now, whatever I felt doesn't mean that you would feel. And in the same way, as we wake up in the spiritual realm, does not mean that we will wake up together. Whoa, hey Saul, hey, hey. It doesn't mean like that. So two people die in the same way, they can have waking ups different. And some can feel the pain, yes, but others not. Others, they might have been removed from their bodies right before the accident because they had merit. They had merit to not suffer through that physical pain. But others, they needed that physical pain. They needed that physical pain because of everything we said, because of what they did. So only God can say yes or no. Only God can determine what will happen in the moment of the death. If you can read the books of André Luiz, they are very good. All the collection of the books of André Luiz, it gives you lots of details about discarnation. And I even have like a little video that I can put later on in Miami Inner Light that explains the discarnation of Sigismundo, a spirit that had a very hard time here too. Last one before we go to the gospel. Teresa, what is meant by human event? What is meant by human event? Where is human event? Where did you see that, Teresa? What is meant by human event? I don't know what you are talking about. Is it written in the book, or is something that I spoke about? Let's see if you can write about it, and then I can answer later on. But let's move on, and let's go to the gospel according to Spiritism. So Teresa, if you... Oh, it's in the last paragraph? Let's see before we go to the gospel. The last paragraph. Likewise, the same principle apply to human events, where we can attract to our side by means of our improved and noble mental reflexes that help like and the support of others according to the law of solidarity. I don't know. It's not here. I don't see what is this sentence. I'm sorry, guys. I don't see this sentence in the last paragraph. Let's go to the gospel because we are a little bit over time. And then if you see the paragraph, you can copy and paste that for me, and then I can comment. So today we are in the Gospel According to Spiritism introduction number 4, and we are going to be talking about Socrates and Plato, the beautiful philosophers of the past. And the first time that I read the Gospel, I was in love with this chapter because of the explanations, because of all the clarity it brought to my mind, how amazing they were so many years before Christ. It's not before us, it's before Christ. And they had the thoughts, the ideas very, very similar to Jesus and very, very similar to Spiritism. So it's very beautiful. So let's start reading, and then we can comment a little bit. So just to give you a little understanding, I found a beautiful website that talks about many philosophers of the past, many that we heard always the names, and they all had something important. So I will also put this link in the Miami Inner Light. But just to you have an idea, Socrates was born 469 years before Christ. Isn't that amazing? 469 years before Christ. He died 399 years before Christ. And then Plato was born 428 years before Christ, and he died 348 years before Christ. So the numbers are so big that it's like, wow, it's hard to imagine such an amazing, intelligent, and spiritually elevated man in that time. But Kardec will explain exactly why they were so elevated. So let's go through. Even though Jesus must have been familiar with the sects of the essence, it would be erroneous to conclude that he drew his doctrine from it, and that if he had lived in another environment, he would have professed other principles. Great ideas never appear suddenly. Those that have the truth as their basis always have precursors who partially prepare the way for them. Later, when the time has come, God sends someone with the mission of summarizing, coordinating, and completing the scattered elements to form them into a body. This way, the idea, not having arrived abruptly, finds minds fully disposed to accept it. Such occurred with the Christian idea, which was foreseen several centuries before either Jesus or the essence, and which Socrates and Plato were the principal precursors. Socrates, like Christ, wrote nothing himself, or at least left nothing written. Like Christ, he died the death of criminals, a victim of fanaticism, for having attacked established beliefs, and for having placed the true virtue above hypocrisy and illusion of forms. In other words, for having combated religious prejudice. Like Jesus, who was accused by the Pharisees of corruption the people with his teachings, Socrates was also accused by the Pharisees of his time, since they have always existed in all epochs, for corrupting the youth by proclaiming the dogma of the unity of God, the immortality of the soul, and the future life. So Socrates was corrupting the youth for talking about these three subjects. Isn't that amazing? He was corrupting the youth because of proclaiming the dogma of a unity of God, one God only. We know in Greece they believed in many gods, many gods for anything, water, sun, everything. And Socrates was talking, no, there is only one God. And then immortality of the soul, exactly what we're talking today. We talked today in the other book. This body will perish, this body will die, and then the spirit will be free, and then the spirit will come back again in a different body. That's exactly what he's talking about. And the future life, we will come back again. So just as we know about the doctrine of Jesus only through the writings of his disciples, we know about the doctrine of Socrates only through the writings of his disciple Plato. We believe it useful to summarize here the most prominent points in order to show their concordance with the principles of Christianity. So this part here is very beautiful. So the first big paragraph explains that great ideas, they cannot come sudden. They need to have preparation. It's exactly like us. We want to be, want to be a lawyer. You want to be a lawyer, so you already must like to read a lot and to write a lot. But you need preparation. You need to go through school to be able to prepare yourself to be able to become a lawyer. And the ideas is more or less the same thing. Like people start reincarnating, like we always talk about it. Nowadays, the kids, they are special. It's almost like they are already prepared with a special chip. They have like this already in their brain. They already go to a computer. It's almost like automatic. They know how to do everything. Everything is easy and everything is simple for them. What took us a long time, they are already like prepared. But ideas are the same thing. So you have to be open-minded to certain things to be able to accept it, although it's more difficult. For example, me, since a child, I was always attracted by spirits. Always. I always loved anything that was related to spirits. Ghosts, people talk a lot about the ghosts. So I was always, wow, this is marvelous. This is so interesting. And so when somebody died, the spirit can appear. And then my friends would like, aren't you afraid, if a ghost appears here? I was like, I don't know. I think it's so interesting. I would love to ask lots of questions. And my friends are like, whoa, you are creepy. But it was not that. I believe it's because, I always had this inside of me that I was going to study this deeper, and I was going to really understand what was it. So I was born with it in me. I was born with this desire to understand. Even if when I became a teenager, I was really afraid of going to a Spiritist center, because in my mind, when I became a teenager, as soon as I put my feet inside the Spiritist center, I was going to start seeing all kinds of spirits, and I didn't want to. So this was already something else, because I knew, how can I say, subconsciously, I knew my mediumship was going to really be boosting quickly and sooner. So I was almost like, oh, I don't want this right now. But as we know, we are nobodies. We don't have really the saying, I don't want this, I don't want that. When it has to happen, it will happen. And it will happen by law or by pain. Usually by pain. Most of the people search for Spiritism for pain. And that's exactly what happened to me. It's a long story, but I start seeing lots of spirits every single day. And it was very difficult. I was extremely scared. And I was talking to them, as I used to say, when I was a child, but they were not very friendly. And it was very difficult for me. I couldn't sleep. So God is so merciful that it made me to go to a friend's house that I hadn't seen for 10 years. And as soon as I arrived, the first thing they start talking was Spiritism and mediumship. And I didn't understand anything of Spiritism. My parents were Catholics, and they really didn't want to get involved with anything of occult. So I was like, wow, can they see my mind? And then I told her, my aunt, my dear loving aunt, she's the mother of a friend. I call her aunt. And I told her about this problem of all those spirits every single night. And she told me, Angela, you only has mediumship, that's it. And I was like, oh, that's it? And she's like, yeah, that's it. No problem. This is so easy. This is piece of cake. I was like, oh, good. How can I get rid of it? That's what most of people, when usually they come to the Spiritist Center with the same problem, they come to do spiritual treatment and or fraternal counseling, and they say, please, I'm seeing spirits. How can I cut it? How can I send them away? How can I stop it? And we know we can't stop it, but yes, there are so many beautiful ways that the medium can be helped, can understand how to improve, how to protect himself, how to guide the spirits that are appearing. And this is all a blessing. And this is how Spiritism is so important, because help us to understand it. Doesn't send us directly to the psychiatric hospital. No, gives us the different medication that really guides our soul and our physical body. So this is a beautiful blessing. Spiritism in this point is a beautiful blessing. Let me go back here to Teresa. Hey, Teresa, I think maybe you might invent another way to say incarnate. Oh my God, Teresa, I wish I could find what is this Yuma event that I cannot, and I already read the last paragraph twice. But when we finish, I will read it and I will type it, and if I find, I will explain it to you. Okay, I'm so sorry. Hello, Silvia Beltran Otero. Hello, friends. Many blessings. Yes, thank you. Thank you. So let's continue with our dear friends Socrates and Plato. To those who will consider this parallel to be profanation and claim there could be no parity between the doctrine of a pagan and that of a Christ, we will respond that Socrates' doctrine was not pagan, since its objective was to combat paganism. That Jesus' doctrine, purer and more complete than Socrates, has nothing to lose with the comparison. That the grandeur of Christ's divine mission would not be diminished because of it. That furthermore, it's a historical fact which cannot be denied. Humankind has reached a point in which the light radiates by itself from under the bushel. It is mature enough to face it. So much the worse for those who do not dare open their eyes. The time has come to examine matters broadly and from a higher level, and no longer from the trivial and narrow point of view of the interest of sects and castes. So this is also, there is another paragraph. Moreover, the citations will prove that if Socrates and Plato forsake the Christian idea, the fundamental principles of Spiritism must also be found in their doctrine. So Kardec is so bright. He is so intelligent, and he analyzes everything so beautiful. So he's analyzing and he's just saying, like a lot of people imagine, he's making a comparison in the 1800s, making a comparison of the doctrine of Socrates and Plato with Jesus. So a lot of people could say, this is a profanity. Jesus is our Lord, our Savior, and Socrates, who was Socrates? They might say that. And he's saying, Socrates and Plato doesn't remove anything from the beauty of the doctrine of Christ, because of course, the doctrine of Jesus, the teachings of Jesus, they were much more deeper. They were much purer. But the doctrines of Socrates and later on Plato, they were the basis. You know, you have to have a base in order to be able to build your home. So you can analyze like this. And the teachings they brought, they were beautiful. As we just read in the paragraph before, you know, Socrates was talking about one God, immortality of the soul, and he was talking that there is a future life. This is very similar to many of the teachings of Jesus and the teachings of the Spiritism. So Kardec explained this in a very beautiful way. They were the basic, and Jesus was like the master class. And now we are doing Spiritism. That's the doctors, because Jesus came here to teach. We couldn't fully grasp, and now we have to study again to be able to see, okay, now I understand. Let's understand it together. That's why when we study these books in a group, then when we can like make comments, ask questions, it helps us to understand. Analyzing paragraph and paragraph, then we're like, oh, now I can understand it better. Because it's also like sometimes you take a book like this one. This is a dense book, you know. It's short, it's beautiful, but it's so dense. There is so much inside of every paragraph that sometimes it's difficult to understand. So when we study like this, we digest it in an easier way, and you're like, ah, now I got it. So that's why it's so good for us, because we have to improve all the time. So let's improve in this reincarnation. We are so blessed that the technology helps us so much. You know, I am physically in Miami, but I'm sure there are people from my dear friends that I know from Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, many other states. And we are all together here. Teresa, which state are you? Please write there. I don't remember. I know that you live in North. But so we have this blessing to be together here studying Spiritism. So let's take this opportunity to little by little improve ourselves. It's so good that when we cannot go to beautiful talks, we can listen to it, we can see the videos. YouTube is fantastic. YouTube, there are so many beautiful teachings that we can always improve and enjoy and participate. So I'm very happy that we are studying together. So thank you so much for everybody here. I'm glad that we were able to study what I had programmed to study. And next week we will do chapter 14. 14 or 15? 15. We'll do chapter 15. Let's see which one will be 15. Health. You see, Amanda is so smart. He creates the body, and then right after the body, the health. Perfect. And in the gospel, we will be talking about the summary of the doctrine of Socrates and Plato. And Teresa, yes, Vermont. Teresa is in Vermont. Very good. This is awesome. So guys, pleasure to be here with you. Let's now get our minds together, and let's think about those souls that I mentioned before that perished today, and the family members are suffering so much. And let's send our beautiful mental vibrations together so they can benefit from it. So let's just close our eyes for a few seconds and think. Dear God, thank you so much for the studies of tonight. Thank you so much for everything we learned, everything we are learning in this incarnation. Please, Master Jesus, help us to improve day by day. Becoming a better person is so important for our spirit, so our reincarnation will be well used. And after receiving so many blessings, we would like to ask the good spirits that are with all of us here at this moment to involve all the people who discarnated today in this terrible accident here in Miami, when the bridge fell and crashed so many cars. Please, Master Jesus, send your angels to all those people who died, so they will be able to be rescued quicker. If possible, they will have no pain. They will be able to be guided to a hospital where they will start their treatment and their understanding of the new life they are right now. And we also would like to ask for the family members, for the friends, for the people who knew them, who are suffering so much here, with all the media attention. Please, Master Jesus, help them, guide them, stay with them, bless, protect them, give them the support and the strength they need to overcome such a difficult situation, a difficult time, and help them to understand that they are always surrounded by light, by love, and this difficult time shall pass, and the image of their loved ones will be always with them, because love unites us. Thank you so much. So be it. So my friends, thank you so much. It was awesome to be with you here. Let me just see what Saul mentioned. Angela, as you said before about the medium, I was doing my gospel today and I opened the page of the parable of the withered fig tree from the book Gospel According to Spiritism, and it talks about the mediums. Just about what you said, it is beautiful. Yes, mediumship is actually a blessing. It's a blessing for the medium and the spirits who are able to communicate with them and ask for help and receive help. But we have to understand this better so we are not afraid of it. So guys, thank you so much. God bless all of you. Enjoy your next weeks, and I see you soon here again in Kardec Radio. Thank you. Bless you. Bye-bye.